In this task, we're going to debrief Task 3 from the PDSY Practice Assessment 1. So the first part, you've been asked to match the appropriate stage of the product life cycle to each description. This question is a drag and drop. So underneath you've got the 5 options, which you'll just select the correct one and drop into the relevant stage answer box. So the first one, for the steep upward trend in revenue, this one is growth. The growth stage is characterised by a rapid increase in sales and revenue as a product gains market acceptance. New products enter market and demands start to fall. This is decline. In the decline stage, sales decrease as the market becomes saturated or new product offers superior alternatives. High cost incurred but no revenue generated. This is development. The development stage involves significant investment in research and development before the product is launched and generates revenue. Economies of scale achieved and advertising costs are low. This stage is the maturity. So during the maturity stage, sales growth slows, production becomes more efficient, and advertising costs are relatively low. Leaving the final one, high advertising costs but low revenue levels, this is the introductory stage. So the introductory stage requires substantial market efforts. The introduction stage requires substantial marketing efforts to create awareness and generate initial sales, resulting in high advertising costs and low initial revenue. Now moving down to the next part, we have some information that we need to read regarding the product pricing. We've also got a pricing spreadsheet and we've got the sales director's response. Before we go and read through these, it's really useful to actually read the requirement of the information. And again, this information can be viewed in the referencing section to the right of the assessment. So Cynthia has asked you to calculate which prices would be most profitable. For each product, we need to calculate the marginal cost per unit and the annual contribution that will be earned at each of the 3 prices that Cynthia has considered. And if our answers are 0, we need to enter 0. So let's go back and review the information. So the latest annual results of SL products have confirmed the trend of decline in the gross profit margin. The Board of Directors has asked Cynthia Moss, the Sales Director, and Louise Harding, the Finance Director, to review the situation and report back with an agreed proposal. So the company operates in a very high competitive high-tech market. It is necessary to create a stream of innovative new products that are as good as or better than those marketed by competitors. Meanwhile, older products rapidly go into decline, and it's almost impossible to increase the price of a product after it has launched. Louise proposes that all new products should be priced to give a 30% markup over cost. She says we only get one chance to get the price right, and production costs are always rising, but we cannot increase our prices. So if we launch a product with a 30% markup, there will be profitability in a few years. And Sue Hughes, the chief accountant, has created a simple spreadsheet model to determine the selling prices for new products. And she has used the model to calculate the selling price of 2 new products that are already launched. So we've got a pricing spreadsheet here. So Sue explains that this is a full overhead recovery pricing module. The variable elements of production overheads is equal to 15% of the direct costs. And all the marketing and the administration are fixed. So we can see that the semi-variable cost is the production overheads, because it says there is a variable element of it, 15% of the direct costs. And the marketing and admin are fixed costs. Okay, so if it's 15%, so we've got £18 as the direct cost. 15% of the £18 is £2.70. So your variable element here is £2.70, leaving the fixed element of being 90p. Working out the same, 15% of £42 gives us the variable element as £6.30, leaving the fixed element as £2.10. Looking down at the sales director's response, Cynthia says that the prices are not competitive, and she knows that the business will suffer if she cannot refresh the product range with new products at attractive prices. She has compared each of the two products, NP1 and NP2, with competitors' products and has estimated the sales potential at 3 pricing levels, to which is to undercut competition, the market price, and the spreadsheet price. So as mentioned before, we need to use these tables here and the information provided to calculate which prices would be most profitable. So we're going to start looking at the marginal cost per unit to the nearest penny for NP1 and NP2. So for NP1, let's have a look. We've got the NP1, we've got the direct cost, which is, if we go back up here, of £18. And we're going to then add in the variable production overheads, which we calculated that at £2.70. Okay, because as we're marginal costing is just all the variable costs. So by adding the both of these together, this should give us a value of £20.70. We're going to do the same for NP2. Okay, so we've got the direct cost, which was £42. Just confirming that up here. And the variable element is £6.30. Which gives us a total of £48.30. Okay. We then need to look at the annual contribution that will be earned for each of the 3 prices that Cynthia has considered. So first of all, we're going to work with NP1, and we've got a marginal cost per unit here of £20.70. And all we want to do now is, first and foremost, is find out the difference from the estimated cost given above that, that Cynthia's put down as the 3 pricing. Find the difference between that and what the marginal cost is, and then we will then multiply it by the volume. Okay, so I'll just start with MP1 up at the top here. So to undercut competition, we're just going to take the £21 and we're going to take off the £20.70. So that leaves us with 30p. So then if we multiply that by the volume of 250, the annual contribution is going to be 75. Same again for the market price. So you've got the £28, take away the marginal cost that we've just calculated. That gives us £7.30. Multiply by that by the volume of 150 units, which gives us a annual contribution of 1,095. And then lastly, the spreadsheet price, 35.10 minus the £20.70 leaves us with £14.40. And we multiply that by the volume of 50, and then that gives us £720. And we just repeat the same method for MP2, but this time when we look at the cost here, we just need to remember that the marginal cost there was £48.30. So as you can see from the NP2 workings, to undercut competition, the annual contribution is 2,220, market price 4,680, and the spreadsheet price is £5,040. Underneath here then, we are then asked to select the price that would give the highest contribution to profit for each of the two products. And all we're really doing here is we're just highlighting, identifying the highest of the two. So we can clearly see for MP1, it is that of the market price. And then for MP2, it is the spreadsheet price, which will give us the highest contribution. And then the final part of this question then is to discuss the potential impact of Louise Harding's proposed policy on the business. And we've got 5 marks available for this. So we're looking for 5 points to discuss and try and identify from the information that's being given. And as we're aware from the narrative, Louise Harding's policy of pricing new products at a 30% markup over cost could have several impacts. So the first thing that we need to think about is the profitability. So by looking at the information, the policy, this would ensure that all new products are profitable, since the prices would be higher than the marginal cost, and it would cover total unit costs. The next one would be reduced pricing flexibility. As it states there, the pricing policy doesn't allow the sales director to respond to market conditions to optimise contribution. And what that means is it implies that the company's pricing policy is rigid, and it prevents the sales director from adjusting prices in response to changing market dynamics, potentially hindering their ability to maximise the profit generated per unit sold. The third one is looking at the reduced competitiveness. SLP operates in a price competitive market, and pricing products at a 30% market may lead to prices higher than competitors, reducing competitiveness and potentially lowering sales volumes. This means that because SLP operates in a market where customers are very sensitive to price, setting prices 30% higher than the cost to produce the product could result in SLP's product being more expensive than those offered by competitors, making them less attractive to customers and potentially leading to fewer sales. So point 4 looks at the impact on sales volume and product range. As it says, the higher price can lead to lower sales volume. Given that SLP needs to refresh its product range to remain competitive, the policy could hinder the introduction of new products at attractive prices. So this suggests that the higher prices resulting from the current policy could cause a decrease in the number of products SLP sells. And furthermore, because SLP needs to introduce new products regularly to stay competitive, the policy's tendency towards higher prices might make it difficult to launch these new products at price points that would appeal to customers. And the final point would be the risk of business decline. If new products are not priced competitively, they may not sell well, and as older products decline, the business could suffer. So this means that if SLP's new products are too expensive compared to competitors, customers might not buy them. And consequently, as SLP's older existing products become less popular over time, the lack of successful new product sale could lead to a decline in the overall performance and potential failure of the business.